Intro. Once upon a time, there was a land of dragons, the land of Draconis. All story tales start with once upon a time. I started as once upon a time, yet I'm going to have to change what I said. In the world of dragons, there is no time and no space. This world has been existing for literally trillions of years, way before our universe has even been conceived. The world of dragons existed. Our universe is only about 15 billion years old, give or take. The dragon's world has been around for trillions and trillions of years. Our present day universe is only a blink of an eye in eternity. Many people say this is all fiction. This is all a figure of your imagination. This is coming from your subconscious mind. Did you know your subconscious mind runs the show in your life? 95% of your actions are dictated by your subconscious mind. It is literally running the show, and yet we think we are running the show. My brother and John were discussing the dragons. Even Carl Jung put his 2 cents in and said that the dragons are an archetype symbol for humanity. My twin brother John chipped in and said, dragons are the symbol of enlightenment. I like that. I'm going to steal that. Just think about this entire universe, and the entire creation is going from darkness to light. Everything is changing and morphing. Civilizations come and go. They disappear like the thief into the night. The same challenges we have of going from darkness to light, the dragons had many moons ago. They went through their tumultuous times. They almost destroyed themselves. Just take a look at my book Dragon Tales and see the transformation of the dragons going from darkness to light. The Western dragons never changed and never matured, and therefore, in the end, they were shot down one by one by the dragon hunters. In the East, dragons is a precious symbol that can be seen throughout the Far East. Dragons represent hope for mankind. Can you imagine if you were created trillions of years ago and you practiced the art of meditation and self-reflection for trillions of years? What kind of wisdom do you think you would have? You would be humble because you know you can never rest on your laurels. One must be humble in the face of the vast universe. Many of the great masters were trained by dragons trillions of years ago. It's funny, you've been trained by a dragon for trillions of years, and yet you are born on planet Earth. It's almost like you have to start all over again in your learning process. I find that quite fascinating. The great masters learn how, when they go to sleep, to go into the world of the dragons and simply rejoice in the silence that is there. Modern day scientists would probably say this is the quantum field. In that field are perfect peace and perfect bliss. Each one of those great masters had vast problems to face during their day. Mankind really doesn't like someone to recommend today how to improve their lives. The theme, "Don't tell me what to do," is prevalent. This is still true today. At times, you could use the state of the chaotic world to your advantage. I have been there, done that. When one sees that this world is chaotic, one looks for a way out of the situation. The Kabbalists say to have your feet on the ground and your head in heaven. This is what the dragons teach. It is the same thing trillions of years ago and today. Mind you, they didn't have the means to create things with their arms, but they still had the means to create anything with their minds. The mind is either your best friend or your worst enemy. Currently in this world, I would say it's our worst enemy. I look at the state of the affairs today, and it doesn't look good. Yet, I also see the other side of the coin. Millions of people are waking up from their slumber. These are exciting times. Even if you believe in dragons or not, that is not the point. The point is you are the piece of the puzzle. If you want this world to change for the better, you must become part of the solution. You're either the problem or the solution. You can't sit on the fence any longer. The world is going through difficult times. We must learn the principles of being in harmony with the earth and the universe. We must stop being consumers of this land and be protectors of this land. We are sawing off the branch we are sitting on. We are oblivious to the actions that we take daily. We are in the video game of life, and yet we don't even know this game exists. The dragons and the great masters have been playing this game for trillions of years. You have been playing this game for trillions of years. The sad thing is, when you come down to earth, you forget all the knowledge and wisdom and play the silly game of life. One gets so involved in the video game of life that they forget the jewel exists inside of them. This game is quite easy to play if you know the rules and you practice them daily in your life. What an opportunity to connect to the source that is keeping you alive. Welcome to the world of dragons. You are blessed if you embark on this precious journey. I admit I'm not your normal writer. I don't plan exactly what I'm going to say. To be honest, I think I'm quite unorthodox and think outside of the box. My goal is hopefully to inspire you to look inside for the precious jewel. I try in so many different ways. Just think, all it may take is just one story that will help you wake up and see the forest from the trees. Mankind doesn't slumber and doesn't know it. A conventional book, in my eyes, has a hard time waking up humanity. Behind the words lies the experience that you're looking for. It's not the words that will unlock your door. Only you can unlock your door. Carl Jung knew there are archetype symbols that held the keys to opening up the subconscious mind. These writings are meant to help you and assist you in this manner. As I said many times before, the same process the dragons did trillions of years ago are the same today. We are going from darkness to light. You are the piece of the puzzle. Nobody else has your piece of the puzzle. You are either the solution or the problem. What do you choose? It's up to you to answer that one. You can't sit on the fence any longer. The story of life as the ship of life has a huge hole in it, and water is coming into the boat. What are you going to do? Many people are simply texting on the freeway of life and are oblivious that the ship is sinking. Hopefully, these kids' books may inspire you to look for the jewel within. They are not just mere stories. There's a meaning behind them. Unfortunately, we live in a world of apathy, and most of us aren't even interested in finding the jewel within. Dragon Tales is about the creation of Shambhala. Everyone has heard about the mystical city of Shambhala. This was located in the mountains of Tibet. There was a time when there were over 2 million dragons and humans living together in perfect harmony. It wasn't always that way. This is the transformation of the dragons going from darkness to light. The story begins in Great Britain. It sort of begins where our civilization is today. Chaos is all around. Come and listen to this story. You will get great wisdom from it.
Once upon a time, many moons ago, lived the dragons. They live where the British Isles are today. Now these dragons weren't exactly nice. In fact, they were mean. Dragons in the past were kind and caring, yet over time, they lost their awareness. It may seem strange to us, but they love to bicker and quarrel. They love to be angry. They love to create war. That was their form of excitement. This went on for thousands of years. You see, dragons can live to a dear old age. These dragons cause a lot of discomfort in the countryside in the British Isles. Imagine waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and seeing your precious cow taken away by the dragons. Man would hide all valuables and jewels. The dragons had a sixth sense to find them and steal them. It was true that dragons loved to hoard their wealth. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything with them. They just loved to sit in their caves and sit on their wealth. Greed came upon them. They didn't know how to share with one another. Consequently, there was a lot of fighting with one another. It seemed like where life was miserable. There was no contentment in their life, no happiness or kindness, not even love. All the dragons were in the same empty boat. They were like ghosts where nothing could fill them up. No wonder man was fearful of the dragons. They were horrible beings. They were up to no good. man had good reason to be wary of them. During the Crusades, man had the weapons to start fighting the dragons. It was not a glorious time for man and dragons. Many of the traits the dragons had, man embraced. It seemed like man and dragons, at this point in time, had misery in common. Both of them lost the true direction to find the hidden jewel inside. You can't blame them. They never knew it existed inside. The years went by, and the conflict never got better. It just got worse. The dragons were being hunted down and killed one by one. It wasn't a pretty sight. One day, a baby dragon was born during the darkest times. This dragon couldn't relate to anger, war, and greed. All the other dragons thought he was a misfit. All he wanted to do was have fun. He was extremely intelligent and had a lot of humor. He made other dragons laugh. The elders disapproved of this. When he learned to fly, he would go off alone and soar in the sky. He was free at that moment, not a care in the world. He loved that feeling. Somehow he knew that the true nature of a dragon is true freedom. He discovered that kindness, love, compassion, and patience was his true nature. Well, the old elder dragons did not like that at all. They told him that he had to stop this nonsense. You see, the other young dragons liked what they were seeing. They looked how Zoran, the young dragon, was turning their lives upside down. They thought that war, anger, and stealing was truly the way. Now, a young dragon, Zoran, clearly walked on a different path and didn't have a care in the world. Zoran's father had a huge pile of precious jewels, yet Zoran wasn't interested in the slightest. He told his dad the greatest jewels in the universe lie inside. Well, that didn't go over so well. Dad was furious. He was already furious and angry. Remember at that time, the dragons had quite the temper tantrums. Well, this was like putting gasoline on the fire. His dad exploded. Who do you think you are to say such a thing? Zoran knew not to say anything. Sometimes it's wise to be silent. All of the other elders talked with one another about this situation. What are we going to do with Zoran? He is wreaking havoc with his tribes. They decided to give him a little time to see if anything would change. Well, it didn't. Zoran was moment by moment learning how to meditate. He was diving deeper than ever inside of the infinite ocean within. Now you see, these dragons are scared of water. They are fire dragons. Water will extinguish the fire within. Water will extinguish war, anger, and greed. They thought this was their true nature. Zoran discovered something the entire dragon world didn't know. You are the universe. You just don't know it. Well, that was the final straw. They had a council meeting and decided to throw him out. He was still young for a dragon. He was 100 years old. You see, the dragons could live for thousands of years. So he was told to leave and never return. He was cast out of his home. But there's another story to this. A few young dragons decided to go secretly along with Zoran on his grand adventure. Zoran at this time was getting guidance within. One dark and moonless night, they flew out of the cave. never to return again. The rest is history. Zoran hears the East might be a great place to go. They had high and magnificent mountains far from man and other dragons. Up until that time, dragons were extremely rare in the East. They were quite unknown, so they flew away into the darkness of night. The journey was just starting. They had no idea the steps they were going to take. Zoran and his friends traveled only during the night. They didn't want other dragons or man to discover them on their flight. When they flew over the lakes, rivers, seas, and oceans, they would eat the fish along the way. Fish was extremely plentiful. They discovered it was tastier than cows. Furthermore, they didn't have to be worried stealing cows and being captured. Man was slowly learning how to trap the dragons. There were even dragon slayers as a profession. Times have changed. It took 3 solid months to arrive at their destination. They landed in the high mountains in Tibet, far from man and other dragons. It was winter time. They had to fly in fierce snowstorms and bitter winds. Fortunately, they were fire dragons and could keep warm. A water dragon might have frozen to death. Zoran and friends found a beautiful cave to live in. It was huge and had an opening where they could fly in and out. So they set up camp and called it home. Well, winters last for a long time in Tibet, especially at high altitudes. You can only have so much external conversation with one another. Zoran taught them how to meditate. It was slow going at first. None of the dragons realized how powerful the mind was. Zoran simply instructed them to follow their breath. The dragons thought this should be easy. They learned that was more difficult than learning how to fly. You see, even for dragons, flying took time and effort. You had to work at it. They say conquering your mind is the most difficult thing in the universe. Well, the young dragons will completely agree. Since it was winter time, they had all the times in their life. Slowly, they took small baby steps along the way. When winter was over, they took to the skies. They loved the external and internal feelings of flying. Wow, I'm free. I'm not bound to anything. The seasons came and went. Winter has arrived again. They spent their time in meditation. Imagine this went on for hundreds of years. Zoran and his friends were discovering they were the universe. The universe existed inside of them. They were truly discovering their true nature. They were becoming wise. They knew how to laugh and play. They truly enjoyed each other's company. These dragons lost their old egos from the past. They became the first master dragons of their time. Mind you, for their time, dragons are eternal. They are timeless. Zoran and his friends discovered that their true essence was the universe. Well, one day, an incident occurred. While the dragons were flying and having a merry good time, some small youngsters saw the dragons in the sky. They got very excited. They heard old folk tales from their ancestors about dragons flying in the sky. As youngsters, they didn't want to worry their parents. Their moms and dads already had too much on their plate. You see, they were farmers and herders. Life was tough enough as it was. They didn't need another burden. These youngsters started to see them flying more, often during the spring, summer, and fall. During the winter, they never saw them. This went on for many seasons. The youngsters married, had children, and their children had children. It was now a common sight to see, yet nobody ever saw them in person. They were like the UFOs we're seeing today. You see them, but never have a close encounter. One day, during spring, a group of youngsters went exploring. They saw this huge cave with a large opening. They decided to go in. They weren't scared, but were hesitant. Slowly, they walked, step by step, into the cave. To their amazement, they saw Zoran and his friends meditating. It was a sight to behold. They weren't scared at all. In fact, they were so happy and full of love. They had never experienced anything quite like it. The dragons woke up and saw the children sitting there with their eyes wide open. They couldn't believe what they saw. Now the dragons don't speak their language, but they have the capability for non-verbal communication. This means, without saying words, the children could hear from inside of them what the dragon said. The children never saw such a thing like this before. This started a brand new life for the children. They were told, don't tell anyone else. Someday, when this time is right, we will show ourselves to the village. These children came back day after day. The dragons took them on flying rides, which are still being talked about today. Imagine flying on the backs of the dragons. They never experienced such freedom and joy. The dragons slowly taught them how to meditate. They taught them and showed them that kindness, love, and compassion is the true way to live. They did not preach or try to convince anyone. The dragons were pure and didn't have anything to prove, yet their essence rubbed off on the youngsters. Slowly, over time, they embraced these qualities. Mind you, this was a time in Tibet and China where war was all around. The same problems that existed in the West existed in the East. Generation after generation, the youngsters migrated to the dragons. The parents and grandparents knew what was going on. They have spent precious time with the dragons and took their wisdom into their daily life. You see, the spiritual path is the most practical path. These small villages were becoming wise. One was a young boy named Confucius. He was seeing this transformation from the dragons and put them into practice. He discovered a system that is still in place in China today. All his wisdom came from spending time with the dragons. He then carried it on his journey in life, and we have a great tradition today. One of the earliest students was Lao Tzu. He was truly a man of nature. He spent a considerable amount of time with the dragons. Even at a young age, he was wise beyond his time. Even the dragons were amused at his knowledge and wisdom. At times, it seemed that his wisdom was beyond theirs. Mind you, these dragons were thousands of years old. Lao Tzu was only around 10 years old. Needless to say, there was great friendship and understanding with each other. At that time, China and Tibet couldn't understand the simplicity of Lao Tzu and the dragons. Lao Tzu really didn't care about politics and worldly affairs. He hardly ever went to cities. They were a complete distraction. Man really wasn't open to wisdom or knowledge at this time. So Lao Tzu spent a lot of time with the dragons in nature. You see, Lao Tzu could see the unity of all life. There is a story that when Lao Tzu was going to leave this world, a small group approached him high in the mountains. They begged for some insight and wisdom. Today, we have the Tao Te Ching, one of the greatest books. Lao Tzu went with some dragons and never returned. His wisdom is still alive today. Today, the dragons are revered all over the East. Wherever you go in China, you will see dragons as flags or statues. Their wisdom is still alive today. Unfortunately, in the West, not much has changed. Dragons are something to be fearful of. Stories are still being told of dragons hoarding wealth. Dragon slayers were the savior of mankind. Isn't it amazing? The times really haven't changed much. We still are angry. We still think that wars can solve our issues. Maybe, just maybe, we can learn from the dragon. Our nature is the universe. The new dawning of man is here.
This came from Dr. David Hamilton. Every atom in your body was made in a star. That means that your heart, brain cells, skin, hair, teeth, bones, even the air you breathe, plus those that compose the trees, dogs, and cats, rabbits, and horses, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, plus the insects, birds, fish, roads, buildings, and cars. The basic components of everything within you and surround you were made in a star. And you are deeply connected to all of it. Your body is the remnants of a star after it took its last breath. Stars began their lives as invisible clouds of mostly hydrogen. The atoms of hydrogen are gradually pulled together under gravity and squeezed together to form helium, the stuff that makes balloons go upwards and that makes your voice squeaky. This is nuclear fusion. It releases vast amounts of energy, so much, in fact, that the star essentially ignites like a large cosmic match being lit. But while it burns, more and more atoms are squashed together, eventually forming heavier elements like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, silicon, and iron, and even large stars produce gold, silver, and platinum. And just as a log fire goes out when it uses up its fuel, so stars do the same. They burn for usually millions or billions of years, and with all their fuel as expected, many of them blow up, a supernova, and the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, silicon, iron, gold, silver, platinum, and all the other elements are blasted into space as stardust. Eventually, gravity draws this stardust together to form planets like the Earth. Everything on Earth, from rocks, stones, water, crystals, to all living things like people, animals, insects, birds, fish, grass, trees, and flowers, is made of this stardust. Every atom of your DNA is stardust. Every atom in your skin, blood, and bones is stardust. Every atom of the oxygen you breathe is stardust. You are an intimate part of the whole universe. You are made of stars. The universe gives birth to you, and you contain its essence within yourself. You might say that you are in a form that the universe is currently taking, and you are deeply connected with the whole universe in another way. The phenomenon known as entanglement shows that when two particles or fields interact, they remain connected, no matter how far apart they are. This is also true of particles and fields that were created at the same time. Cosmologists believe that all particles and fields were created about 14 billion years ago in the Big Bang, that all particles and fields are connected today. That is, although it doesn't look like it or feel like it, you are connected to entangle with the entire universe. In the deepest way, you are connected to a leaf on a tree, a stone in a garden, a raindrop, other people, your loved ones, friends, colleagues, and even your enemies, to animals, plants, insects, birds, and fish, to a coast, to a crystal of ice on one of Saturn's rings, and even to a piece of dust on the surface of a planet in a galaxy far, far away. Anyway, just something light to post.
You are stardust. Hi, kids. Let's gather around the campfire. Wow, look at the millions of stars in the sky. Did you know that you are stardust? You came from the stars. Here's the kicker. You are the universe. You just don't know it. Your true nature is kindness. Your true nature is love and compassion. This story begins a long time ago. In fact, millions of years ago. Imagine there was a planet much like Earth. They went through the same craziness that man has gone through. War was rampant throughout the land. Quite frankly, people were good, but their leaders, not so good. They were only interested in power and greed. Yet, your true nature is kindness. Life is like a grand hide-and-seek game. In order for the civilization to truly mature, they must discover the diamond inside. Only by discovering kindness inside will you truly be kind in your life. You can be highly advanced in technology, but if you don't get along with others, you're missing the point in life. Did you know that it takes around 1,000,000 years for an entire civilization to go from darkness to light? That's a long time. Yet in the end, heaven truly comes to earth. Imagine a world where everyone gets along with each other. Imagine being in school and there are no bullies. Nobody will ever pick on you or call you names. This is gone from the culture a long time ago. You see, the kids and adults could literally see the web of all life tying us all together. This web is true love. They had an interesting way to teach one another. They didn't have desks all lined up in rows. The teacher was teaching ahead of the classroom. They taught in nature under a huge tree. There's a huge circle where the kids would sit around. The teacher would slowly teach and walk around the circle. Each day, the kids would move to a different part of the circle, so they would sit beside someone different. This helped prevent cliques. The children loved to learn. They were highly advanced. Can you imagine that every kid knew he was the universe and knew it from experience? She was the sun, moon, and stars walking around in a human body. How would you like to create rainbows in the sky using your hands? Not only that, but each rainbow played an incredible melody. Groups of children would have an orchestra in the sky. We never heard such sweet melodies. It's like the universe itself was playing music. In fact, it was. The kids were in tune with the universe. Beethoven would have loved it. Each one of the kids was incredible conductors. Imagine a world where there's no crime, there's no poverty, no lack of food, no illness. You see, once a civilization understands and experiences the laws of the universe, all these problems can be solved. Yes, it takes around 1,000,000 years. Unfortunately, some worlds don't make it. They have a tendency to blow themselves up. You see, we have free will. You can change for the better, or you can destroy yourself. Quite frankly, those are the two options. There is a point where each person decides. Imagine at a certain point your world starts to change dramatically. Slowly, you begin to look transparent, much like Casper the Friendly Ghost. You start to be more multidimensional in nature. You are no longer physical. You have become pure energy in nature. Now the fun comes. Imagine going anywhere in the universe in less than a second. How's that for a cosmic ride? Talk about a roller coaster ride. You and your friends can go anywhere in less than a second. Imagine the entire knowledge of the universe is inside. What does that mean? It means as a kid, you're extremely wise. You are not limited. You don't have to learn your ABCs. You have a PhD from the universe. You are wise beyond belief. This is your true nature. You are wise and kind. You've learned that without kindness, you never can be wise. Nature only gives her secrets when you are kind. Nature is not a bully or mock one another. Here's the kicker. You still are an individual, yet at the same time, you are one with the universe. Now, that's a paradox. Imagine a cosmic soup. It has many different ingredients, yet you can't take out a certain ingredient. We are talking about quantum energy. Boy, Einstein would have loved this. Imagine in his mind, he created those theories. How would it be if he had the capability to imagine them in his mind at the same time, practically becoming the experiment? Imagine E equals mc squared. He can go from mass to pure energy and back to mass again. Now, that would be exciting. Inside of you lies the laboratory of life. Imagine all sorts of incredible inventions would be developed. When a civilization lines itself with the universe, all sorts of incredible inventions will happen. You see, nature will trust you. In our present day world, we let the genie out of the bottle. We create nuclear bombs. Now we have a threat that we can destroy the entire world. We don't know how to put the genie back inside the bottle. The only way out of this creation is to find the jewel inside. It's been there the entire time. Remember, you are a piece of the puzzle.
Come and sit by the campfire. The story We're just about ready to begin. These stories have been told for eons. Storytelling is a way to connect to the jewel that exists inside of you. You are the universe, and you just don't know it. Listen to these stories with an open heart, and you will see the jewel exists inside of you.
These stories are meant to be pondered over. They are not just stories. There is a meaning behind them all. This is the definition for the word ponder. Verb. Think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. I pondered the question of what clothes to wear to the occasion. Synonyms: thinking about, contemplate, consider, review, reflect on, mull over, meditate on, muse on, deliberately about, deliberate about, cognate on, dwell on, brood on, ruminate on, chew over, puzzle over, turn over in one's mind, overthink. She had time to ponder over the incident.
Little Ricky and little Johnny loved to surf. Just think, even on Draconis, the dragons knew how to surf trillions of years ago. Surfing connects one to the ocean of life. Quite frankly, there are no words to express the incredible sensation of riding a wave. The ocean is conscious and alive. Many surfers are just skimming the surface and texting on the freeway of life.
We are all surfers in the ocean of life. Each of us are riding the waves in our own and unique way. This book, Surfing Tales, is my own journey in learning how to surf with life. In this book, I'm going to talk about many different experiences. I will pay tribute to my fellow surfers who are no longer with us. I will talk about my journeys, both outward and inner. I feel so fortunate to be alive. This life is an incredible blessing. This book talks about my major joys in life. They are surfing and meditation. These are hobbies for me. I hope you enjoy this book. Some will probably like it, while others may ho-hum it. We are all so different, yet we are the same. And that's a paradox. Yes, life is a paradox. The older I get, I see that our intelligence would never go far. It's only when we combine intelligence and the heart together can we understand the secrets of life. So I hope you enjoy riding this wave.
This is Mother Gaia. I have a few messages I would like to share with you today.
You know me, but you don't know me. I have many names. Some call me Gaia. Some call me Mother Nature. Some call me Panchakama. You have forgotten your connection with me. There was a time when we were in harmony with me. Nowadays, you've forgotten who you are and the connection you have with me.
I am the mother of all on this earth. Many of the indigenous people around the world still have the connection with me. You call them primitive, yet they are highly advanced. You may have technology advanced, yet your spiritual and emotional growth is stunted. For thousands of years, you've been fighting wars with one another. You are sawing the branch that you sit on. Look at how you treat me. You have no respect. I'm not judging you. I just call a spade a spade. You are in the midst of one of the greatest transformations anywhere in the universe. It's happening right before you. Millions of people awaken up from their slumber. You're beginning to realize who you truly are. We are in the game together. You and I are one. I've been around for billions of years, and so has you. Yet today, you are still sleeping and are totally focused on getting by in life. Your ways are backwards. They don't work. Your mirror is cloudy. Every step you take, you are walking with me, yet you are oblivious to this. Your entire society is presently beating a drum that is out of tune. You think everything is well, yet you have forgotten our connection. You have forgotten your true essence. Anger is so pervasive today in your world. Everyone is angry with each other. It seems like in America, people are polarized. They don't listen to each other. In fact, many people have a tremendous amount of hate towards each other. I have love for all. That is my nature. I am patient and tolerant. I am kind. This is my nature. You have forgotten your true essence. Presently, you are a mixture of light and dark. You are going from darkness to light. I am trying to remind you how incredible you truly are. What if you had an Earth Mother who has been here since the dawning of time? I hold you in my arms, yet you don't realize it. You think you are alone. Because of this and your free choice, you have at times tremendous pain. It's hard to be truly happy when your happiness is external. You are like leaves blowing in the wind. You are happy and then you are sad. You get angry when you're in a traffic jam. The wise man would see a traffic jam as an opportunity to meditate and be aware with the eyes open. One would feel gratitude and remember our divine connection. You see, without being connected to your true nature, you will have a hard time navigating in this world. You really won't be in harmony with me or the universe. Need I say more? Take a look at the world around you. Is it in harmony with nature? You have a president who is going backwards in time, undoing all the environmental goods. He is totally out of sync with me. You see, a strong ego can be quite damaging. A man must develop kindness and humility to gain true wisdom. True wisdom comes from within. You know when to smile in the face of adversity. You have nothing to prove. I am what I am. I do not judge. I will give sincere and honest opinions. You may not agree with me. That is your choice. But I am your mother. Remember, there were probably times when you didn't listen to your worldly mother's advice. At some point in time, you did something and you thought, I wish I would have listened to my mother's advice.
I wouldn't be in this certain situation. Well, life is a series of beautiful lessons to learn. We would never stop learning. Listen to the various messages I have for you. I am speaking directly to you. You are on the verge of waking up from your slumber.
What if I told you, you are a swan, you are magnificent, you are a wonder? Listen to these stories and realize the meaning behind them.
These stories are meant to be pondered over. They are not just stories. There is a meaning behind them all. This is the definition for the word ponder. Verb. Think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. I pondered the question of what clothes to wear to the occasion. Synonyms: thinking about, contemplate, consider, review, reflect on, mull over, meditate on, muse on, deliberate about, cognate on, dwell on, brood on, ruminate on, chew over, puzzle over, turn over in one's mind, overthink. She had time to ponder over the incident.
We are going from darkness to light. We are going from me to we. When a civilization like us lives in the state of awareness of only me, chaos exists all around. When a civilization matures and becomes we, heaven will be on earth.
Just got up. It's 2:22 in the morning. I'm pondering the meaning from me to we. It seems like man has been living the dream for so long. At times it's been a nightmare. At times it's been a beautiful dream. Man has been repeating the same actions for thousands of years. They constantly repeat themselves. Why does man continue to fight wars? Wars have never solved anything, yet they still continue to this day. Each century, our weapons are more sophisticated. Today, we have weapons that can destroy the world 100 times over. Yet, we still are on the lookout to create even more destruction. I love to watch the geese and ducks fly in the sky. My wife and I love it. They fly in incredible formations and can change and morph in many different patterns on the fly. They are in sync with nature. It seems like they are totally united and flying as one. Personally, I think man's problem stems from the fact that we are so identified on me. My nation is better than your nation. My religion is better than yours. I'm going to heaven while you're going to hell. God is on my side and not on your side. It's all me, and me. Currently, we have a president who loves to divide the country. He gets a big kick out of this. His tweets. He tweets whatever comes to his mind. He has no ethics whatsoever. You see, when you aren't aware of your true nature, you act in ways that aren't in harmony with the universe. For example, why don't we elect leaders that are kind, loving, and compassionate
Some are, yet our political system is in shambles. We are totally divided. Our political system is at a standstill. Nothing can get done. Blame is put on both sides of the parties. You see, our mentality is us versus them. We have been this way for thousands of years. Emotionally, man has been stagnant for ever so long. Yet we have progressed in technology. Thousands of people have tried to make this world a better place. The spark of the universe lies inside. This book is about how we can transform from me to we. I believe this is our answer. All the great masters talked about this in their beautiful ways. Man thinks that his consciousness only exists in his brain. He has created himself distant from life itself. According to Einstein, E is equals mc squared. Show me then where consciousness does not exist, inside of a flower or a car. The whole universe is alive. Man just thinks he is alone.
Once upon a time. Don't know about you, but every time I heard that, I would always love to listen to what comes next. Intro. I remember as a kid sitting in the classroom and chaos being all around. All the kids were chattering and being distracted by each other. Yet, when the teacher sat down on a chair and opened a book and said the following, "Once upon a time," that's all it took to get the students to calm down and listen to the story. What is it behind the words "once upon a time" that can do such a tremendous shift in awareness? This phrase has been used for thousands of years. Many cultures have the same meaning, yet different words. Each time we hear this phrase, we are tapping into our true essence, and we just aren't aware of it. Something so cozy happens to us. It's like we are transported to a place where there's a beautiful fireplace, and a fire is gently sending out sparks of light that are mesmerizing. We are sitting in a comfy chair and watching the flicker of the fire. At times the fire makes a popping sound that delights the soul. You really can't put words into this experience. We all have our once upon a time stories that lies within us. Mind you, this isn't the first time you are alive. Since the dawn of creation, you have been around. We just think that the world around us is all that there is. When we hear the words, "once upon a time," something inside recognizes that, and we respond, even just for a few moments in time. We settle down, we calm down. One small spark of the fire ever so gently comes to the surface. Mind you, the more attention you pay to this, the more attention it starts paying to you. We are so busy doing that we have no time to just be. That is the crux of the problem. Stories are a way to tap into the true essence that lies within. Each one of us is like raindrops, different and unique. Yet a raindrop's goal is to merge into the ocean. That is its true nature. We think we are separated from each other. That is the problem. We wouldn't have the problems that we have today if we truly experienced the unity behind all things. We get so preoccupied with the external. Come, sit by the fireplace and simply relax. There's a story to be told. This story is a part of you. It may seem like someone else's story, yet the essence is the same. Your soul is speaking to you. Your soul is so much grander than what you think. You are infinite. You are the universe and just don't know it. Once upon a time. Some friendships last forever. Some last beyond time and space. Zoran was one of those precious relationships. Intro. Imagination is the key to life. Let's take your imagination and expand it a little. By being like a child, one has tremendous imagination. When you were a child, imagination was as natural as your smile. You didn't get the ugliness of being in your mind and losing awareness of your imagination. It only happens when you get older. It doesn't have to be that way. For eternally, there have been beings who have promoted the journey from darkness to light. This is a sacred journey we are all on. This is not the first time to this rodeo. You may think that it is, but it is not. You are the universe and just don't know it. There have been billions and billions of incredible beings like you who have gone from darkness to light. They all have made mistakes, just like you do. The motto for this video game is 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. It's as simple as that. We are meant to make mistakes. This is how we learn and grow. This book is about my friendship with Zoran. It's not an ordinary friendship. We have been friends for lifetimes. This is the story within a story. We are all involved in this story. Unfortunately, most of the time, we are only involved in our life. We don't see the complete picture. We get so involved in our petty things. How is it I have a friend on the other side I haven't seen in 35 years? Yet my connection to him is stronger than ever. Zoran once told me that laughter is the best medicine. When you laugh, it changes the molecular structure of your biology. You literally create happy cells. Anger creates angry cells, which can lead to cancer. I won't call this book The Life and Teachings of Zoran. He probably wouldn't go as far as that. Zoran taught quite differently than many ordinary teachers. When he was on stage, he would have a treasure chest of toys. Alf was one of them. He would hand someone a toy, and it would make that person a child again. Somehow, he believed in the simple power of transformation by being a child. We'd always laugh and laugh when we were together. At times he would say that he would have to bring our laughter down a couple levels because it was getting too difficult for my car to channel. Believe it or not, but Zoran held at a mystery school on a planet called Nucleus. They had beings all over the universe coming to this school. They studied the mysteries of the quantum field. It was quite sophisticated, yet so simple. They have a stargate where they can go anywhere in the universe. They also learn through meditation to travel anywhere in the universe in a second. One can never truly understand the mysteries of the quantum field. It is beyond time and space.